The orphanage stood at the edge of the town, old and forgotten. Its walls were cracked and the paint peeled off like dry leaves. Few people cared about the children inside. Even fewer knew their true story. Ali was only 5 years old. Small and thin, he moved quietly through the halls. His eyes were wide but scared. He did not cry out loud because no one ever listened. His tears were hidden deep inside, falling silently. Inside the orphanage, life was hard. The children were often hungry. The food was little and bad. Many nights Ali went to bed with an empty stomach. Sometimes the other kids cried in the dark, but the grown-ups never cared. The teachers did not teach kindness. Instead, they shouted and punished the children for small mistakes. Ali had bruises on his arms and legs. He could not remember the last time he felt safe. Every day felt like a long, cold night. Ali dreamed of a place where he could laugh, eat well, and sleep without fear. But the orphanage was all he had known. Far away in the city, a man named Mr. Shah lived in a tall, shining building. He was a millionaire, a successful businessman. People admired him, but many thought he only cared about money. One evening, Mr. Shah heard a story on the news. It was about a small orphanage on the town's edge, an orphanage where children suffered in silence. Something about the story touched his heart. He could not stop thinking about the children. He wanted to know the truth. So, without telling anyone, Mr. Shah decided to visit the orphanage himself. He wanted to see with his own eyes. On a cloudy morning, Mr. Shah arrived in the quiet town. He walked slowly to the orphanage, feeling a strange mix of hope and fear. The gate was rusty and opened with a creak. Inside, the air was heavy and cold. Mr. Shah saw children playing outside, but their faces did not shine. They looked tired, almost invisible. Mr. Shah walked inside the building. The halls were dark and smelled like old wood. He saw children sitting quietly on the floor. Some were thin, some had dirty clothes. Then he heard a soft sound, a small cry, almost a whisper. He followed the sound and found a little boy sitting alone in a corner. The boy's name was Ali. Ali's eyes looked at Mr. Shah with confusion. He wanted to hide, but he was too weak. Tears rolled down his cheeks, but he tried to wipe them quickly. Mr. Shah knelt down and spoke softly. "Hello, little one. My name is Shah. Are you okay?" Ali did not answer. He only shook his head. His small body trembled. Mr. Shah's heart ached. He saw the bruises on Ali's arms and the sadness in his eyes. This was no ordinary orphanage. Something was terribly wrong. Shah looked around and noticed the cold rooms, the empty plates, and the lonely children. He realized this place was a prison, not a home. For the first time, Ali felt someone looking at him with kindness. But he was still scared. He did not know if he could trust this stranger. Mr. Shah promised himself, "I will do something. No child should live like this." He stayed longer, watching the children quietly. He saw how the staff ignored their needs and punished them unfairly. As he left, Mr. Shah felt a heavy weight in his chest. He could not forget Ali's eyes. They spoke of pain and hope at the same time. That night, Mr. Shah sat in his large office thinking about the orphanage. He knew this was just the beginning of a difficult journey. But one thing was clear. He would not leave those children behind. Especially not Ali. Because sometimes, all it takes is one person to change a life forever. The morning after his visit, Mr. Shah could not stop thinking about Ali and the other children. Their sad faces haunted him. He wanted to help, but he knew it would not be easy. He drove back to the orphanage, this time with a plan. He knocked on the big wooden door. The orphanage director, a stern woman named Mrs. Khan, opened it. "Mr. Shah," she said coldly, "what brings you here again?" "We are managing fine." Mr. Shah smiled gently. "I came to talk about the children. I want to help them." Mrs. Khan looked away. "We take good care of them. You don't understand how hard it is." Mr. Shah looked at her eyes. He saw fear. And something else? Maybe guilt. He said softly, I only want what is best for the children. No one should be hurt or hungry." Mrs. Khan did not answer. Instead, she closed the door slowly. Mr. Shah was not surprised. He knew that many people hid the truth to protect themselves, but he was determined. He started visiting the orphanage in secret. He brought food, clothes, and medicine. He gave it quietly to Ali and a few other children he trusted. Ali was surprised. No one had ever cared like this before. At first, he was scared the staff would find out and punish him, but Mr. Shah's kindness made him feel safe. One day, Ali asked quietly, "Why do you help me?" Mr. Shah smiled and said, "Because you deserve to be happy, Ali. No child should live in fear." Ali looked at him with hope for the first time. But life in the orphanage did not change overnight. The children still faced harsh punishments. The staff were strict and often cruel. Ali learned to hide his pain better. He did not cry in front of others anymore. But at night, when everyone was asleep, he would whisper prayers for a better life. Mr. Shah watched from a distance, feeling powerless sometimes. He wanted to do more, but he knew he had to be careful. He made a silent promise to Ali and all the children. "I will save you from this place. I will not let anyone hurt you again." The promise gave Mr. Shah strength. He began talking to lawyers and people who could help change the orphanage's rules. But the staff did not like Mr. Shah's secret visits. They watched closely and warned him to stay away. One afternoon, Mrs. Khan called Mr. Shah to her office. Her voice was cold but polite. "We don't want outsiders disturbing the children. Please stop coming here." Mr. Shah looked at her and said firmly, "I will not stop until the children are safe." Mrs. Khan's eyes flashed with anger, but she said nothing more. Mr. Shah left, knowing the fight was only beginning. Back at the orphanage, Ali held a small piece of bread Mr. Shah had given him. It was warm and soft, a small comfort in a hard world. He looked up at the sky through a tiny window. For the first time, Ali believed someone was fighting for him. That night, Ali dreamed of freedom. He dreamed of running in fields, playing with friends, and living without fear. And somewhere far away, Mr. Shah worked late into the night, planning how to make that dream come true. Days passed quietly, but Mr. Shah's mind was full of plans. He knew that helping Ali and the other children would need more than food and clothes. The orphanage needed to change, completely. One afternoon, Mr. Shah met with his trusted lawyer, Mr. Ahmed. They sat in a small office, papers spread on the table. "We need to check the orphanage's records," Mr. Shah said. "If we find proof of abuse or neglect, we can force the government to take action." Mr. Ahmed nodded. "It will take time, but it is possible. We can also help children like Ali to leave the orphanage and live with families who care." Mr. Shah smiled. "That is what I want, a family for every child." Meanwhile, at the orphanage, Ali noticed a change in Mr. Shah's visits. Now, the millionaire was not just giving gifts quietly. He was asking questions, talking to the children, and trying to learn everything about their lives. The staff grew suspicious. They watched Mr. Shah closely. Some whispered to each other, worried he might expose them. One evening, Ali found Mr. Shah hiding behind a big tree near the orphanage. Mr. Shah was talking on the phone in a low voice. "We have to act fast," he said. "The children cannot wait anymore." Ali listened carefully but did not say a word. Days later, Mr. Shah returned with a small team of helpers. They brought notebooks, and cameras hidden in glasses. Ali was nervous but hopeful. He knew this was important. The team took pictures of the orphanage, the broken windows, the empty kitchens, and the sad faces of the children. They talked to some children secretly, writing down stories of hunger, fear, and pain. Ali shared his story too, telling about the cold nights, the bruises, and the lonely days. Mr. Shah promised, "We will make sure no child suffers here again." But the orphanage staff were not happy. They warned the children not to talk to anyone. One day, Mrs. Khan called Ali to her office. Her voice was sharp. "If you tell anyone about this, you will be punished. Do you understand?" Ali felt scared but nodded. Back in the city, Mr. Shah worked day and night. He met with officials, shared the photos, and told the children stories. Some people listened. Some did not. Mr. Shah did not give up. He knew the children were counting on him. One night, he sat alone in his large office, looking at a photo of Ali. The boy's eyes seemed to ask, "When will I be free?" Mr. Shah whispered, "Soon, Ali, soon." Weeks passed, and the tension at the orphanage grew thicker. The staff knew Mr. Shah was serious. They watched the children even more closely, trying to stop any sign of rebellion or talk about the outside world. Ali felt the pressure too. He was scared to say anything but wanted desperately for things to change. One morning, a new helper arrived at the orphanage, a kind woman named Amina. She was quiet, but had warm eyes. She came to teach the children some reading and writing, but her real mission was secret. Amina quickly gained the trust of the children. She listened to their stories and promised to help them find a better life. Ali felt safe around her, and, for the first time, he smiled a little. Mr. Shah and Amina worked together. Through secret messages and quiet meetings, they planned the next step. They needed proof strong enough to force the government to close the orphanage and help the children find new homes. One evening, Mr. Shah called Amina and said, "We must act fast. The staff might get suspicious soon. We have to gather everything tonight." That night, Amina stayed late at the orphanage. She hid small cameras in the children's rooms and common areas. She recorded the harsh words of the staff and the sad faces of the children. Ali and the other children whispered to each other, hoping this would be the end of their suffering, but danger was close. The staff started noticing strange things, missing papers, unusual noises at night. One night, Mrs. Khan found one of the hidden cameras. Her face turned red with anger. She called the staff and said, "Someone is trying to destroy this place. Find out who." The next day, the staff questioned the children, but no one spoke. Ali stood quietly, his heart pounding. Mr. Shah knew this was a dangerous moment. He told Amina to be very careful and to keep the children safe. Meanwhile, Mr. Shah met with a government official who promised to visit the orphanage soon. This was the moment they had been waiting for. On the day of the visit, the orphanage looked cleaner and quieter. The staff tried to hide everything, but Amina had prepared the children. She told them to be brave and speak the truth if asked. When the officials arrived, Ali was too scared to say anything at first, but when he saw Mr. Shah's encouraging smile, he found courage. He told the officials about the hunger, the punishments, and the loneliness. Other children joined him, sharing their stories. The officials listened carefully. They took notes and promised to investigate. As the visitors left, Ali felt a small hope growing in his heart. Mr. Shah stood outside the orphanage watching. He knew the fight was not over, but this was a big step. That night, Ali whispered a prayer. "Please let this be the start of a new life." And somewhere, Mr. Shah whispered back, "It will be, Ali, I promise." After the government officials' visit, things at the orphanage began to change, slowly but surely. The staff grew more careful. They knew they were being watched. Still, Ali and the other children felt a small spark of hope for the first time. In years, Mr. Shah did not stop his work. He met with more officials, lawyers, and even journalists. He wanted everyone to know what was happening inside the orphanage. One afternoon, Mr. Shah returned to the orphanage, but this time he was not alone. A team of social workers came with him. They brought food, medicine, and new clothes for the children. Ali saw the helpers and smiled shyly. For the first time, he felt someone cared. The social workers talked to each child, listening carefully. They promised to find safe homes and loving families for them. Mrs. Khan watched silently, angry but powerless. The government had given orders to improve the orphanage and protect the children. Ali's days slowly changed. He no longer went to bed hungry. The bruises on his arms began to fade, but the fear was still there. Fear of what might come next. One night, Ali dreamed of a home with warm lights, laughter, and love. He wished for a family who would hold him tight and never let him go. Mr. Shah visited Ali quietly, He sat beside the boy and said softly, Ali, soon you will leave this place. You will have a family. Ali looked at him with wide eyes. Really? A family? Mr. Shah nodded. Yes, you deserve happiness. But not everyone wanted the change. Some staff members tried to stop the social workers. They hid some children and made excuses. Mr. Shah worked harder, making sure every child was found and helped. One day, a woman named Mrs. Fatima came to the orphanage. She was kind and gentle. She looked at Ali and smiled. Ali felt his heart beat faster. Maybe this was the family he had dreamed of. Mrs. Fatima talked to the social workers and promised to take care of Ali. She said, every child deserves love. The day Ali left the orphanage was filled with tears, some sad, some happy. As Ali walked away, he looked back once. The orphanage was still there, but his life was changing forever. Mr. Shah watched from a distance, feeling hope in his heart. He whispered to himself, this is just the beginning. Ali's first days with Mrs. Fatima were very different from life at the orphanage. The house was warm and full of light. The smell of fresh food and soft blankets made Ali feel strange and safe. Mrs. Fatima was kind and gentle. She talked to Ali softly, helped him wash his face, and gave him clothes that fit him well. For the first time, Ali did not feel scared. But inside Ali's heart there was still pain. Years of loneliness and hurt did not disappear quickly. He missed the few friends he had left at the orphanage. One afternoon, Ali sat by the window looking outside. He saw children playing in the park. He wanted to join them but was afraid. Mrs. Fatima sat beside him. It's okay to be scared, she said. But you are safe here. You can start again. Ali nodded but said nothing. Days passed. Ali slowly began to smile more. He ate meals happily and learned to sleep without fear. Mrs. Fatima helped him with schoolwork too. She believed education was a key to a better future. Meanwhile, Mr. Shah did not forget Ali or the other children. He continued his fight to close the orphanage and help the children find homes. One day, he invited Ali to his big office. Ali looked around, amazed by the tall buildings and bright lights. Mr. Shah knelt down and said, Ali, you are very brave. You have a new life now. Ali looked into his eyes and felt something he never felt before, trust. But the past was not easy to leave behind. Ali sometimes had bad dreams. He woke up crying, scared and alone. Mrs. Fatima comforted him every time, telling him, you are not alone anymore. One evening, Ali asked, will I ever be happy? Mrs. Fatima smiled and said, yes, Ali. Happiness will come. You just need time. Ali held her hand tightly. For the first time, he believed in a better tomorrow. Mr. Shah watched Ali's progress from afar. He knew the road was long, but felt proud to have helped change one small life. The months passed, and Ali's life slowly began to change in ways he never imagined. With Mrs. Fatima's care, Ali grew stronger and happier. His small smiles became laughter. The fear inside him started to fade. At school, Ali made new friends. They played together during breaks, and sometimes, Ali even laughed so much his stomach hurt. Mrs. Fatima attended every school meeting, cheering him on. She told Ali, you are a brave boy and you can do great things. One afternoon, Mr. Shah visited the home again. He brought a small gift, a book filled with stories about hope and courage. Ali looked at the book with wide eyes. Mr. Shah said, this is for you, Ali, to remind you that no matter how dark the past was, the future can be bright. Ali hugged the book close to his chest. Thank you, sir. But the biggest change came one sunny day, when Ali met a new family who wanted to adopt him. Mrs. Fatima took Ali to meet them. They smiled warmly and promised to love him forever. Ali was nervous but also excited. He thought about the home he had dreamed of for so long. After a few meetings, the family took Ali to their house. It was filled with laughter, toys, and love. Ali felt a new kind of happiness, one he had never known. Mr. Shah watched from a distance, his heart full. He had saved many children, but Ali's story was special. Ali was proof that one act of kindness could change a life forever. One evening, Ali stood by the window looking at the stars. He whispered softly, "Thank you, Mr. Shah, for saving me." A gentle breeze touched his face as if the world itself was answering. Ali's tears had finally dried. His life was no longer about pain, but about hope and new beginnings. The millionaire's promise was kept. The boy who had suffered in silence was now free to live a life full of love. And so, a new story began, a story of healing, courage, and the power of kindness.